In this video, I will share with you a Miracle Constellation, a format, and you can do the constellation for yourself during the video. And during the process, I will also share some reflections with you, some considerations that I take into account while facilitating others through Miracle Constellation processes, so that you can also feel into what feels true to you. Maybe you would do things differently. So be very open to how things are feeling to you, what you are noticing within you during the process and about the process. So this will be a two-way journey, so to speak. On one hand, you will experience the constellation. Also, you will learn something about the framework and how to apply the Miracle Constellation Framework. So what you need is a couple of objects to do the constellation with, and a pen and a paper. You can always push me on pause if you need a little bit of extra time to write some things down, or to feel into what comes up for you during every step of the constellation. You do not necessarily have to watch the video. It can also be nice to just listen to it and be guided by my voice. And I will also play along. So I will I will do the constellation with you, and I will show you what I perceive, what I notice, and what information I read from the constellation. So it is my intention that by doing this in this way, you will get a very multi-layered experience of what a Miracle Constellation is, how you can facilitate yourself and others through that process with this very simple format. There's another thing I wanted to share with you. Yeah, just a reminder about what is the framework, the Miracle Constellations Framework. And so it's not a method. It is there's no methodology behind it. There's no theory behind it. Maybe a little bit of quantum physics, but what it merely is, it's a framework. It's a very structured way of working that will help you and your clients to connect with what's truly valuable for them, what wants to be created through them, what transformation wants to be activated for them. So it's because it is a very simple process, it gives space to a lot of actually an infinite amount of wisdom, information, clarity that will reveal itself through the 3 steps of the process. So the framework, the Miracle Constellation Framework, consists of 3 steps. The first step is connecting with a desire. I place my hands on my heart already. A desire, what is it that you want? What is it that you truly want? Sometimes I call it intention setting or a desire. So that is step 1. And the second step is creating the initial constellation. And the initial constellation gives a very visible image of what the current reality looks like energetically. So different elements related to that desire will be placed in the constellation, and the way that they are placed, the way that they look, the distances, the relationships between the elements in the constellation, it will already reveal a lot of information. And already in this second step of the framework, this getting of clarity for many people who are doing the Miracle Constellation, they already have so much clarity during that second step that already something like a change is activated. And then in the third step, we create what I call the miracle, the desired reality. The reality that does not exist yet, but through going through the process of a Miracle Constellation, you will already see it in front of you, in form. And by seeing it in front of you and by feeling into it, and you will experience that later during this video, but by really seeing it, feeling into it, reflecting on what is it that you see, something happens within your body. So the whole system, I like to call it, like our whole human body is, it seems as if it's attuned to this desired reality. And what happens after a miracle constellation is that things just start appearing differently in your life. So you'll have different conversations, different opportunities coming your way. You'll respond differently to invitations or challenges in a way that is in alignment with your desire, which is the first step of the framework. So these are the 3 steps of the framework: desire, intention setting; secondly, creating the initial constellation; and thirdly, creating the miracle, the eventual miracle constellation. So let's just do it. Let's do it, and I will share with you how it works. So let's firstly take some time to connect with your desire, and there's infinite ways of doing that. The invitation that I will give you right now is to maybe pause the video and take some time to write down the answer to the question: what is it? What is currently alive in me right now? And what is the transformation that I desire? And it can be related to your business, it can be related to your relationships, it can be related to your health, to love, to any aspect of your life. So just feel into that question. What is currently alive in me right now? What do I really want in this moment? What is it that I truly desire? And a question that one of my students shared with us, and I love that question, is do it the other way around. So another way of getting clarity on the true desire is asking yourself the question: what desire is calling me? So feel into that for yourself. What is the answer to that question? What desire is calling me? And I love that question because it is, maybe you know the Persian poet Rumi, and he's one of his poems is, or sayings is, what you seek is seeking you. So if you get an answer to that question, what desire is calling you, that will give you direct access to your true desire. So just write some things down. What is it that you want? What is like the biggest transformation that you can invite in your life today? What would make you really, really happy? And as I said, there's many ways of doing this intention setting, but what is important when you facilitate another person through the process is to really focus on something new, something that wants something different than what we are experiencing right now. So rather than focusing on what is going wrong in your life or where do you feel stuck, really guide your client into, but what is it that you want? And this is oftentimes a very complicated question for people to answer. It's a lot of responsibility to give yourself permission to want something and to allow yourself to want that thing, even if you cannot believe it to be possible. So this is step 1. We've done step 1 already. And now we will move into step 2. We will create the initial constellation, and I will guide you through placing some elements. And the way I do it, I will not yet reveal what each of the elements, what each of the objects represent. I will reveal that later during the process, because your response your reaction to that revelation holds information. You will see how that goes. So firstly, I want you to place 2 objects, just intuitively pick 2 objects and give them a place in front of you. Number 1 and number 2. You might want to write down what number 1, like in your journal or on your paper, you might want to just write down number 1 and a little bit of space, and then number 2. So this is my number 1, and this is my number 2. And then I always start by asking a very simple question. What is it that you see? So there's no interpretation needed, just what is it that you see? So I see one tall object and one lower object, and I see that the opening of this one, the Bruce Lee blocks, is directing there. And the opening of this one, number 2, is going in that direction. And I notice something, that this one has a black spot on the back, as if it's a little bit dirty. This is, just look at your objects. What is it that you see? Like, what do they look like? And how big or how small are they? What are the relations? Like, do you feel that they are related or not? Are they close to each other or are they far apart? Just be curious about everything that you can notice, and also include maybe the shadow or the light. Just be really observing of what is it that you see. And also notice within your body, what is it that you feel? So to my own surprise, I feel like more and more relaxed. And I'm aware that I feel like that I'm a bit surprised about it. Apparently, I did not expect this to happen. So what I notice in my body, I start to feel more and more relaxed. So notice within you what is happening within you, what is alive in you. Maybe there's distractions, I hear the birds. Just use all of your senses. I smell the neighbors barbecuing. But this is everything you need to do, so there's no need for explanation. You do not need to interpret what you see, only witness it. Be curious about what it is that you see, what you experience. I'm getting like impatience. Maybe you are experiencing that too. So write anything down about object number 1 and object number 2. And I will now review what they represent. And become aware, so notice how you respond to that. So maybe you get all excited, maybe you get a little bit disappointed, maybe you have like, oh yeah, this feels nice. And maybe you're like, whoa, that doesn't seem right to me at all, it doesn't resonate. So your response holds information, so feel into that, what happens to you. Object number 1, this represents your desire. How does that make you feel? That desire that you just connected with when we started this process. Does it feel alright? Does it resonate? I'm like, oh yeah, it's big, it's big. You know, it's like, it has like a profound, not profound, it feels like a strong foundation. Bam. And it's looking to something like wax, candle wax, that is. There's no need for information, like, oh yeah, my desire, it's big. And it's actually, on my attic here, and I have a bathtub over there. So that my desire, like the opening of this block actually is directed towards my bathtub. Always my desire. Now, object number 2. So feel into what happens if you hear what your object number 2 represents. This represents you. How does that make you feel? Knowing that this is you. Are you happy with it? Are you satisfied? Are you disappointed? Does it stay completely neutral? So all you need to do is to become aware of your experience. And I see like this, well, I noticed, as I shared with you before, there's a little bit like something in the back, a little bit dirty. And I'm curious about that. Like, I'm like, oh, what would that mean? But I'm not trying to fill in. I do not need an answer to that question. I just observe it. So now you've got your desire and your self-present. This is just a little part of the constellation. We will add a couple of objects later. So again, check in with yourself. How are you feeling right now? So what has shifted within you? Now you have, now that you know which elements you and your desire are present in the constellation. We're going to add 2 more objects. So number 3 and number 4. Number 3 and number 4. So just notice how easy is it for you to pick number 3 and number 4. So I was hesitant a little bit. I was like, should I do the black ones or another one? So notice how even this process is for you. Is it easy to pick number 3 and number 4, or is it hard? And what is shifting within your body? So I noticed, like moments ago I was relaxed, and now I'm like, ooh, a lot is going on already. And if you don't experience anything, that is also completely fine. Just be curious about what is my experience in this moment. There's no right or wrong here. Everything is welcome. Notice, look at it, what is it that you see? So what I see, for instance, is that my desire and object number 3, they have the same circumference. So in a way they feel related. And what I also notice is that number 3 and number 4, they are both black. Actually, number 4 has the same circumference. I don't know if the diameter, it's just as big as the object representing myself. And this one has the opening pointing towards the heavens. So notice what is it that you see. So some things that I notice is that literally this object number 3, I just mentioned that the opening was going into the direction of my bathtub, and this is now actually blocking that direction. And interestingly enough, so the opening of myself was directed towards you, towards the screen, right? And now this is in front of that, so it's in the way of that, but I can still see like over it. So this is how I play with observation. So just maybe you want to pause me and play a little bit with your own observation. Just be really curious, like how do the objects, like how are they alike? What similarities do you find between the objects? What differences do you find between the objects? Like I see that my desire and myself, they are really, they're from the same wood as are number 3 and number 4. Again, I will reveal what number 3 and number 4 represent. Number 3, and feel into what that revelation does to you. Number 3 represents the blockage, that thing that is in the way of your desire. The blockage. And you do not have to know what it is, so you do not need to know the story behind it, just being aware that the blockage or a blockage is present in the constellation is enough. And how does it make you feel? Is it big? Mine is quite big actually. Is it big? Is it small? And how does that make you feel? So a couple of years ago I would be like, oh shit, my blockage is really big. But now I'm completely neutral because I've been through this process a lot of times. Like, oh, interesting, you know? So notice how you react. How you respond, how you react, how you feel about knowing that number 3 is your blockage. Then number 4 is the resource. That thing that helps you. How does that make you feel? Mine is quite small. But I like that. So and I like that my resource is actually similar to the object representing me. So that's the same shape. So it feels good. And it's directed towards the heavens. I enjoy that actually. So be curious, what is that you notice for yourself, and just play with the relationships between the objects, and which one of the 4 really draws your attention. Write anything down that comes up. And already this is a format that I really enjoy using because it's very basic, very simple. It reveals a lot of information. We haven't done the 3rd step yet, so that will follow suit. But just to give you an idea that this is something that you can always work with. You/your client, your desire, the blockage, and the resource. And that will already activate, give a lot of clarity and activate transformation. But for this video I've chosen to add a 5th element. So pick object number 5 and place it in the constellation. And notice how it impacts the constellation, the energy within you. So it immediately draws all of my attention. So notice how object number 5, how does it make you feel? What does it look like? It's actually, again, it's the same in my constellation. It has the same diameter as the object representing my desire and the blockage, which is interesting. I find it interesting that this object has similarities with those. So be curious how your object number 5, what it looks like and what qualities are standing out. So this is a Bruce Lee block of this is a very limited edition created in bamboo a couple of years ago. And that was not a very sustainable, it can be easily damaged. So we just did it once. But very, very unique, something very unique. So this is something that I know about this object. So feel into your object. What is your object number 5? What are the very unique characteristics of it? Many stories I can tell about this block. It holds a lot of stories. And while I already know what it represents, while I'm sharing this with you, I'm like, oh, actually this is interesting. This gives me a lot of clarity. It's really funny. I'm guiding you through the process and teaching you the format of the Miracle Constellation Framework, and also I'm experiencing the clarity that is already being revealed here. So I'm having a good time. I will not share those stories because I want this to be about your experience. So notice within your body also what has changed. Do you feel more calm? Do you feel excited? Does the energy, has it become more heavy even? That can also be the case. And to what other objects is it closest to? So this fifth element, this fifth object is in my case very close to the resource and the desire. But it is farther away from the blockage. I will reveal what this is the final element that we work with today, and what it represents, and feel into again how does it affect you once you hear what it represents. This object number 5 represents the thing that accelerates all. The thing that accelerates all. And you do not have to know what it is. It is present in the constellation, and maybe you get clarity already from maybe just your observation. So I get clarity from it because for me this has something to do with storytelling. That will be the one thing that accelerates all for me. This is my interpretation in this moment. So for you, I want you to just be aware, like what thoughts, what associations are coming up for you if you look at that one thing that accelerates all. And maybe it's just by seeing it. And write it down, because it might not yet make sense in this moment, but when you reread your notes, I love that. I always write a lot during constellations, not today. But when I reread my notes a couple of hours later, then a lot of extra clarity arrives. So just write down everything that comes up right now. It might not make sense yet, but it will at one point, and it will surprise you. So here we are. This is step 2 of the Miracle Constellation Framework. You connect it in step 1, you connect it with your desire. What is it that you want? Or what desire is calling you? Then you have created the initial constellation with a couple of objects. Your desire, yourself, your blockage, the resource. And the one thing that accelerates all. And then you observed everything. So you were using your senses. What is it that you see? Like what qualities of each object are standing out? What do you specifically notice about the shape, the direction, the relationships between the objects? So that was like a whole exercise in observation, in perceiving, in becoming aware. And already in that becoming aware, you will probably have gained clarity around your desire, your blockages, the resources, and the thing that accelerates all. Now we are going to move to the final step of the process, which is creating the miracle. And this is actually why it works so powerfully, because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Favorite quote by Dr. Wayne Dyer. What you literally do is you change your perspective on your reality by shifting the objects in a way that feels really good. And this is not rocket science. So already the intention of doing it is enough. So just play around with your objects. So really feel into what feels nice to you. And you have 5 elements, and they all have to remain in the constellation. So there needs to be an object representing your desire, one object representing you, one object representing the blockage, one representing the resource, and one representing the one thing that accelerates all. You cannot remove something. It can be very tempting to want to remove the blockage, But if you do so, you are actually ignoring some things of your experience. So in my vision, and I want you to really feel into what feels true to you, because this is my vision, I believe like wholeness encompasses including everything that is present within you, even the things that are seemingly unwanted, like fear, anxiety, discomfort, blockages, rejection. There can be many things that we do not want to experience, but that are part of our experience, and they actually they lose their grip when you just allow them to be present. So this is why in my vision I always invite people to have everything remaining in the constellation, while at the same time becoming fully acknowledging that desire, like I want to remove it. I know that I can't, but I want that. So feel into what feels true to you here. What you can do, however, is you can, like, maybe you like to change something. So but I would actually, I'm really good here. It feels really nice for me right now, but maybe you feel you want to replace one object with another object. So I'm just now, for the example, I do not really want it, but I'm just showing you how I mean it. So you can replace, actually I do want it, now it's here. So what I did is I replaced the object representing me with another object that's actually bigger, and it now has the same size as the one thing that accelerates all. So just play around a little bit. You can pause the video. I will continue chatting, but if you want to really connect with how you want it to look, it might be nice to pause the video and play a little bit with it. And as I said, there's no rocket science here, so I'm good. For me, it feels good like this. So I did not do a lot of big changes. And the rocket science thing, why do I say it? There's no wrong or right here. So you cannot do it wrong. It's always right. I already mentioned that the intention of, by moving it, you're already expressing the intention. I want to look at things differently. So just by moving, you're expressing that intention. And I choose to believe that when you act upon an intention like that, things will change. Like something will wake up and like, oh, okay, now it's different. So in my case, like that one thing that accelerates all has erected. It was like this, and now it has erected. And to me, it feels like, okay, it's now more, maybe even more powerful in a way. And it's looking to the door, an open door in my attic here. It just feels good. And the resource is now it falls down. It's center stage. And I noticed within me, it's like, I was like, oh shit, maybe now it goes wrong. So that's just a thought. And so maybe you have those experiences too. And acknowledge that. So we're not looking for the facts here. We are not looking to find the one universal truth. All we are doing is intentionally observing our current reality, our current experience of our reality through the use of the blocks in the initial constellation, and we are intentionally recreating that, reshaping that experience by creating the Miracle Constellation in the third step. Now there's a couple of things you can do to get further information about each of the elements. You can already do that in the initial constellation. If you are doing the Miracle Constellation Facilitator training in the reader, and there's a whole video about how to place the elements and how to read the elements. how to inquire the constellation to get more insight. So you can find that in the training. But 2 questions that always work, and that you can ask to every element. So for instance, let's connect with the blockage in my constellation. 2 questions that you can always ask any element in the constellations are, what do you need from me? And the other one is, what is your message for me? But you can also, like a 3rd question could be, how are you supporting me? Actually, great question. So what do you need from me? What is your message for me? And how are you supporting me? So you can, during this video, and you can play with it after the video as well if you like, just look at all of these objects in your constellation and inquire, just maybe there's one object really drawing your attention right now. Maybe it is your desire. Just ask it that question. Write the question down. What do you need from me? And write the answer, that the first thing that comes up, write it down. So in my case, it's, I want you to see me. And you can ask the 2nd question by just looking at it and asking it the question, what is your message for me? Just write down whatever comes up to that question. And push me on pause if you need some more time, because I will continue swiftly. And the 3rd question, how are you supporting me? So this is an example how you can inquire elements, so to gather more information than just observing, seeing. It is not necessary, but sometimes it can be really nice. We're human beings and we like to understand, we like tangible answers. So literally just asking questions. If you ask a question, you will get an answer. So you can ask any question to any object. And as I said, you can do this in the initial constellation, but you can also do it in what we now have created, the Miracle Constellation. A couple of final considerations that I want to share with you about creating the Miracle Constellation. As you can see, this one is quite symmetrical, but not really. So some objects differ in height. Some people, they have the tendency to create a miracle constellation that is very compact. And now I'm doing it, and it looks really nice actually. But what I always, if I see somebody creating a very small miracle constellation, I always invite them to feel into, is it this small because it feels safe? Because when you place everything so close, like nothing unexpected can come in. So there's how can I say it? So I feel I choose to believe that when you create more space in a constellation, there's actually so much more space for unexpected opportunities, unexpected adventures, invitations to arrive in the energetic field. And if it's like everything is really close, there's not a lot of space for something new to emerge. So, and again, there's no truth here, so it's not a rule or it's not a fact, but it's a consideration. I choose to believe that when you create more space within a constellation, within a miracle constellation, there will just be more space for unexpected support, creativity, inspiration, money, whatever, to enter your field. So this is one consideration that I want to share with you. And the other one is about the symmetry. So that's the second one. The first one is about creating space, and the second one is about symmetry. And again, there's no truth here, but I found there's like two different ways of working with symmetry. One is that because it's aligned and because it is from a place of trust and surrender and like a deep inner knowing. But sometimes the other way, it can be out of control. And so it can be that you or your client, you just like things to be organized because it gives you a feeling of being in control. If that is the case, the invitation is to explore in the final step of the process, in the Miracle Constellation, what happens if you add a little bit of chaos. So to make it a little bit uncomfortable. Chaos is always good because like when it's chaotic, like a new order will arrive. So it's actually a little bit the same with creating space. If there's no space, like there's not a lot of room for new things to happen. And if you've already organized like the order, like a decent order and controlled symmetrical pattern in the Miracle Constellation, yeah, there's actually no room for a new order, for things to organize themselves in a new way. And maybe like this snowball effect, if you just like, it's not a snowball effect, these things that you shake with snowflakes in it. You just shake them and then eventually everything will fall to its place. This is what I love about chaos. It's not always very nice to be in a chaotic, like seemingly disturbing situation, but oftentimes it's during those times of chaos when things will organize themselves in a way that brings harmony again, in a new way, in a like more aligned way. So this is why I choose to believe that a little bit of chaos, like I have added even some movement, it can be nice. It might look disturbing and unsettling, but it's also playful. So this is the second consideration that I always take into account while guiding others through Miracle Constellation processes. I'm always really aware if there's like symmetry or not a lot of space. And the third thing is that I always invite people to move beyond what feels comfortable. And actually for me this already feels a little bit comfortable. I guess I'm one of those people that likes to be in control a little bit too. Although I love surrender, and so maybe that's happening here. Actually, this is funny. Something is happening within me right now. I'm like, oh, I want to continue playing. Now I'm touching this one. And this is what I also mean by making a little bit, not necessarily uncomfortable, but stretching the limits of what feels comfortable. And that can look differently in any constellation. Something that is very natural to me is like I like to unfollow the rules. But it's also a bit uncomfortable to not comply to the rules. And in my case, so this is a little bit uncomfortable, what I'm doing right now. So this is just an example of how you can invite yourself or the client, the people that you are guiding, through stretching their edges of what feels comfortable. This was really like a big stretch for me, what I was doing with you, in front of you, with an audience. So invite yourself or your client, okay, how can I stretch the edges of what feels comfortable? And I just love this one-liner. I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt one day. It says, there's disco in discomfort. So try to find the joy and the pleasure in what feels not so comfortable. There's disco there. And it's in the discomfort where something, like in the chaos, where something new can emerge. So this is the whole process that I've shared with you. So you've done a miracle constellation. You connected with your desire and you created an initial constellation, and from there you created the eventual miracle. You gained clarity, you gained some insights, you've experienced feelings, you got answers to those questions, and you've created a reality that just looks really nice to you in objects. So you've gone through the process, and I hope that you've also got a better understanding on why I choose to do each of these 3 steps, and also what is important in each of these 3 steps. The desire, intention setting part number 1, initial constellation number 2, and miracle constellation number 3. You will get completely annoyed with me repeating those steps over and over and over again, because these steps is what makes the framework so powerful. And there is so much space for your own intuitive interpretation, your own creativity. So you can, there's no limit to the types of elements that you introduce in a miracle constellation. And during the facilitated training, there's a whole video, and we will share, I will talk a lot with you about, we will together explore different modalities of finding the right elements to use in a constellation when you're guiding another person through a miracle constellation. So there's many like portals, gateways to getting into the elements that feel right for you in a specific constellation with regards to a specific desire or your own expertise, the audience that you're working with. So that will be covered throughout the rest of the training. And just remember the 3 steps. What is it that you want? It's not what do you not want anymore, what do you want to solve, what do you want to fix, what feels stuck. No, it is truly inviting in something that does not exist yet. And through your desire, through that intention setting process, you connect with it. And then actually the process will unfold itself. Further down the training, we will talk about integration, aftercare. That's not really a thing, aftercare, but I mean by that, how can you support yourself or your clients into fully integrating what has come up for them during a miracle constellations. And you will also, there's a whole module dedicated to what you as a facilitator can do to fully embody that miraculous state of being, that if you as a person are very, very open to the unexpected, if you choose to believe that you are supported by something that is so much bigger than just your own thoughts or your familiar ways of working, then you have access to so much more joy, fun, ease, pleasure. And if you fully embody that, then it's like super easy to facilitate others through those processes as well. So we will cover that during the rest of the training. There was maybe one final thing that I wanted to share with you before we end. Yeah, you can apply this with your clients. So the invitation is to just go out into the world and apply this framework. So these, obviously the framework, but this format, I mean, using the elements, your desire, and the blockage, and the resources. And you can add the one thing that accelerates all, but I found sometimes it might also be a little bit complicating. If you're just starting this work, it can be just really nice to start playing with these 4 elements and do it with 2-3 people in a different way, and trusting that it will always work out, trusting that it will always reveal what it needs to reveal, and trusting that you are a perfect facilitator. And once you've done this like a couple of times repeatedly, you will also develop your own sense of truth, your own vision, And I will keep on repeating this throughout the whole training. It is so important to realize that you have everything within you already. Everything that you need to know. You have access to an infinite source of wisdom, intuition, and it is very unique to you. So I do it in my way, but that is not the way. So the framework is the way, so to speak. It's not even the way, it's just the 3 steps. I do it in a specific way, and by doing it, repeating it over and over again, you will find what is very specific for you. So have fun with that, and do let me know how your experiences are working with the format, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you. Bye bye!